Hey everyone, Light 487 here in widescreen. Today I will be looking at the eGo-T low resistance atomizer as well as the eGo-T XL or mega battery. Now a little while ago I did a review, or I showed you the eGo-T standard resistance atomizer. There it is there, that's the old one. And I found that it was quite okay, but the one thing I thought when I was using it was it'd be really great if this came in a low resistance version. And sure enough, they've now released low resistance versions of the same atomizer and tank setup. So I'll just go through it again. The actual atomizer, I'll just use the regular eGo-T first, because it's the same, as I say, it's the same setup. Essentially, you have a tank, okay, which you fill with juice. You can see the juice in there, and an atomizer. And the atomizer is a cone type atomizer, so it's only going to fit on eGo, Tornado, Riva, those sort of style batteries, or basically any battery that has a 510 connection which sticks up out from the actual battery enclosure. You can get if you get the battery adapter, eGo battery charging adapter, it's like about this long, and it basically goes from a 510 connection male to a female 510 connection, so it'll actually raise up, allowing you to use other devices that don't have, as I say, sticking up sort of connection that's away from the battery enclosure. But anyway, so that's basically it. You've got a tank with juice which feeds the atomizer. Now the atomizer itself, you can see in there, there's like a little tube that's sticking up. It's sort of like a really large needle type shape, and just inside the tube is a bit of metal mesh, sort of the wicking type material that you would see in a normal atomizer, and then that drops down to like a normal wick, like the white stuff that you would see in, say, clear atomizer or other atomizers, and then that goes down to the actual atomizer coil and keeps it wet. So that's sort of how it works. It's a gravity sort of fed system that sort of goes down into the atomizer. Anyway, so I chose to get a eGo 1000 milliamp hour, or MAH, 1000 milliamp hour battery to go with it, because now, or for a while, you can get coloured batteries, and so I decided to get this blue one, and the light in here is sort of making it quite a dark blue, but it's sort of it's more of a leaning towards the cyan sort of range of blues than just pure blue. And as I say, I mean, the light in here makes it look like a dark blue, but it's a little bit like more green than that. Anyway, so that's that, and it's sort of a metallic-y sort of colour, and that's a standard sort of eGo fitting that you can see there. And this one, the XL ones, and I believe now they're starting to make the 650 milliamp and 900s with this same feature. At the moment, if I press the button, it turns on, and that would activate the atomizer. And if I click it 5 times, see how it flashes like that. Now it's in sleep mode, and so if I press the button, nothing happens. That's so if it's in my pocket or in my bag or something, it doesn't activate accidentally. To turn it back on again, I just click it 5 times within 2 seconds apparently. And it flashes again, and now it's awake. So when I press the button, it'll activate. Simple as that, really. So that's just a little safety feature that are built into these batteries now. So the atomizer I got is also blue. So you can get, if you've got a red one, you could get a red atomizer. If you've got a green one, you could get a green atomizer. It just looks nice to have everything the same color, obviously. Anyway, so I'll just put that on there. Screw that on. Okay. So that's basically how it looks. And I chose a blue, clear blue tank to go with it. There's a tank there. You can see I'm almost out of juice because I've been vaping it pretty much all day, or half a day for one. Usually, it depends. It depends how much I'm vaping it. But if I'm vaping it pretty hardcore, I'll get maybe an hour, maybe an hour and a half out of a tank before I have to refill it. But if I'm not vaping it sort of hardcore, like this, it sort of lasted me 8 hours, for the whole day, because I wasn't vaping that heavily. So anyway, so all together, it looks like that. So it's quite an attractive piece of hardware. So a little bit there. Anyway, so I just want to sort of show you the size comparisons. Now, this one is a USB eGo, okay, 650 milliamp, but of course it has this cap that can be removed, okay, which has a mini USB for charging. So obviously that makes it a little bit longer, not a great deal, but a little bit longer than a standard eGo. But you can see, let's put them side by side, oops, like that. You can see it's maybe, another centimetre longer, or maybe half an inch longer, or something like that, than the standard eGo, USB I should say. And this is the Riva battery, okay. So you can see it's about an inch longer than a Riva battery, and I don't actually have a standard eGo battery. I'll just put them all next to each other, all the same height. So you can see you've got the, just get them all lined up. So you can see here's the Riva, and then the eGo USB, and then the 1000 milliamp hour eGo. I believe an eGo is more this size than this size, because this, as I say, has got the USB, but I don't know for sure because I don't have a standard eGo. Anyway, this can fit on all of these. It doesn't have to be a mega thing. Anyway, the actual battery itself was $19.50. That's going to last me a day and a half easily, as compared to the Riva, which lasts me about a day, and the same for the USB eGo, lasts me about a day. So it basically just gives you that extra bit of time. I'm going to be using it when I go away on vacation. So I wanted something that would last more than a day, just in case I'm not able to charge it. Obviously, I'll be taking multiple batteries anyway, but that's sort of my reasoning behind getting a bigger battery. The thing it comes down to is how does it vape, and this is basically how it vapes. So as you can see, there's a decent amount of vapor. I'd say it's equivalent to a regular 510 atomizer, like a Joytech 510 atomizer. The only one that's probably better than this is maybe a standard 510 on a 5-volt device, or a LR306, the ones that I use as well. Those 306s, they really pump out a lot of vapor, and obviously it's low resistance as well. So those two do put out a little bit more vapor, but obviously the standard 510 has to be on a 5-volt to pump out that much vapor. So it's sort of an equivalent of a standard 510 on a 3.7-volt device. Flavor-wise, it's a lot better flavor than the standard resistance one, just because I guess it's reaching that sort of critical point of heat when it makes the vapor produce. And throw hit wise, obviously the juice plays a part in that, like the amount of nicotine you've got in it. But by comparison, maybe a 510 is a little bit more of a throat hit. 306, about the same. Certainly a better throat hit and a little bit, tiny bit warmer vapor than the standard resistance. But ultimately, this one, it comes down to convenience, and it's about this tank. I'll just take that out. Now, to open this tank up, it's actually quite easy, but you'd need to have fingernails, and I don't really have fingernails. I always get them off before they get too long, so I just use like a little, you know, I'm just using like a, I don't want to sort of have it flicking all over the room, so I'll just get it off without having it flick over the other side of the room. So anyway, so you just take the little end cap off. So now it's completely open. I should have opened the bottle of juice first, but anyway. And then we just put the juice into the actual tank. These bottles of juice are quite hard to get the juice out of. Anyway, that's another matter. That's a different thing. Anyway, so you can see it's pretty much full now. Our full capacity tank is apparently 1.1 mil. So I've got maybe 1 mil in there. Okay, and that's it. You just put it back on. No need to sort of do anything else. And then I like to line it up with the shape of this against the shape inside the atomizer, but I don't think it actually matters. I'm pretty sure, because I mean, it's just the tube going into the little hole. So. Great. So now, so as I say, it's about convenience, and so now that that's full, like I say, for the whole day today, I didn't have to pick up a bowl of juice. I could just pick it up, vape it, pick it up, vape it. With the other ones like the 306, yeah, better vapor. Probably, you know, the flavor density itself is better, but I need to drip some juice in there, have a few puffs on it, and then drip some more juice on, have some more, you know, and you have to constantly put more juice on it. But with a tank system, you don't have to do that. You just fill up the tank, and you can fill up multiple tanks. You don't have to just have one. You can have, you know, like 3 or 4 tanks all filled up, ready to go. You just stick it on and vape away. The other good thing I've noticed, I don't know if this is unique to the eGo-T LR or the low resistance, is it changes flavors really quickly. So I've used about 4 or 5 flavors through this alone. And so I put, I think, vanilla, custard through it, and then I put like a peppermint hot chocolate through it, and immediately it changed flavors, like straight away, like within, you know, maybe two or 3 or 4 sort of puffs, it was to the new flavor with no trace of the other flavor at all. When I went to another flavor from the peppermint one, it took maybe a little, like maybe 6 puffs before all the mint was gone, because mint is quite a strong flavor that sticks to atomizer. But that's the thing, you know, before I would have to actually change atomizers, clean the other one out and all that kind of stuff. So it changes flavors quite readily. So that's another good thing about it. Yeah, so I've been using that quite a lot, like more than I would have thought I would be using it, based on my experience from the eGo-T standard resistance. Based on my experience with this one, I would have thought I'd only be using it, you know, as I say, when I go on my vacation or something like that. But it's actually, I'm using it, you know, like pretty much 80% of the time now. So it's really good. And like I say, I can use that. I'll just grab the Riva battery here. There's the Riva battery with it on. no problem. Or the, as I say, the USB eGo, same thing. As long as it's got a connection that's sticking up like this, or as I say with that adapter, you can use it, so it's all good. So I got these ones, this battery and this connection, this atomizer, from bozecig.com.au, so bozecig.com.au. I believe he's still selling the same price. It says here over on the website, over here I'm looking at, the 1000 milliamp hour batteries are $19.50. And the low resistance atomizers, $12. It sounds like a fair amount, but you know, they are quite good. I do recommend them. I believe that the manufacturers of eGos have now just released USB versions of the 1000 milliamp battery. So whether you want to wait for those, I don't know. But essentially, I think they're going to be about $22 or so for the USB eGo or the extra large version. Maybe a bit more, I don't know. But you know, certainly good combination, looks good, and works well. Anyway, thanks for watching.